Been another eventful day in Edmonton Oilers land, and of course, that has to be capped off with the most lame possible move becoming the move today for the Edmonton Oilers. Jesse PUljujarvi misses practice due to a maintenance day, and it is indeed Kailer Yamamoto returning on Friday against the New York Rangers. That's said by head coach Jay Woodcroft today. We'll dissect everything that's happened today in a matter of moments, friends. But before we get there, this is Dolany TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. Really appreciate you being along for the ride, as it's been, like I said, another very interesting day in Oilers land, and one that is going to be hard to properly recap because now with the trade deadline just 2 weeks away, things happening in real time are becoming really difficult to keep up with and, of course, keep level. It's kind of become a joke in my friend circles, and I hope so in yours as well. I'm not just saying this to say this. I hope that Oilers reporters, NHL journalists contradicting themselves and each other on everything the Oilers are doing currently has become a joke to you, because to me it is absolutely the biggest stupid part of this thing. I don't know how to properly sum it up. I had an intro written in my head. I didn't get there. It is what it is. All right, let's get to the housekeeping notes, friends, because I'm wasting too much of your time. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to have you along for the ride here on the channel. We are closing in on 10,000. Excuse me. Bless me. 10,650 subscribers here on the channel, so would love to have you aboard for that. But okay, Jesse PUljujarvi, Kailer Yamamoto. Those are the two players that stole the headlines today for us Oilers fans. Obviously, Jesse PUljujarvi at first, when it was noted that he was not at practice, and then later revealed to not be at practice during a maintenance day. Now, here's the problem with these maintenance days that the Oilers have, is that usually means the guy ends up on LTIR. The guy usually misses the next game. The guy just... this Jay Woodcroft term maintenance day is meant to just literally don't worry about him, but there's a problem. That's generally what that indicates, although truthfully speaking, I do believe today is just a maintenance day for Jesse PUljujarvi, and the reason why, well, we'll get to that in a matter of moments, but that has to be compounded by the fact that Kailer Yamamoto will return to the Oilers lineup tomorrow against the New York Rangers. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's go back to Jesse PUljujarvi for a moment. Doesn't that mean he had to be traded or waived today? Yeah, guess what? There was no Edmonton Oilers player on the waiver wire today. Jesse PUljujarvi remains safe despite not being at practice, which stirred a lot of buzz that it was about to go down today, and it very well might. That's the best part. Like I said right off the top about that joke about the Oilers reporters and NHL media contradicting every statement they make, is simply put for the Oilers is, yeah, you know what, no move's imminent. That's what we keep getting told, but anything can change at any moment. Ken Holland can call up the NHL and say, hey, we're doing this, and there you go. Suddenly you've got a trade done and dusted, and Jesse PUljujarvi, Warren Foegele, somebody is somewhere else tomorrow, right? That's the way these things work. So again, with everything though, please keep in mind when I say absolutely anything at this point, please keep in mind that expect disappointment so as you're never disappointed. Always expect the lamest result, because that's what we continue to get. Kailer Yamamoto, as I mentioned, coming off the LTIR tomorrow. There has to be corresponding moves, and this is that, I'll get to that in a moment, that I was just saying a moment ago, is guess what? Yamamoto coming off waivers, the Oilers have to clear up a little bit of cap space, but they actually have this weird fifth trillionth out that nobody has talked about, right? Every time the Oilers have to clear cap space, they just find this weird backdoor way to do it that nobody talked about for the past 3 weeks leading up to the situation resolving itself, and that is, in fact, the Oilers can run a 20-man roster and send down Vinny Desharnais and Dylan Holloway to the AHL, and that clears the required cap space apparently to activate Kailer Yamamoto. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not trying to sit here and make stuff up when I say big moves are happening tomorrow or stuff has to happen, because clearly stuff has to happen, and then somehow that stuff that happens is Dylan Holloway and Vinny Desharnais being sent back to Bakersfield just to clear cap space temporarily for the next 2 weeks prior to the trade deadline. That's legitimately, I don't know how to say this, is at every turn when it seems like Ken Holland is cornered. And I mean, he's got people marching in on him left, right, and center and making him make a decision. He just finds this little back door. I can solve it for right now, and that's all we need to do. We just need to somehow get to the NHL trade deadline, and we continue to march there towards that deadline by, well, now 2 weeks away, by doing exactly that. And now obviously that is no given. There is no absolute givens here tonight. And if you're looking for answers, Tyson, what are the Oilers doing? I don't know. I frankly don't know. I couldn't tell you, because nothing has happened and nothing will happen more than likely until tomorrow, unless something happens, which could be a trade or something else, a guy going on LTIR, who knows. That's kind of the hard part here, is I think a lot of folks, from what I've been reading in my comments section lately, are very upset with me being kind of just talking about topics, not really having a point to some things. But end of the day here, friends, is if the Oilers media don't have points to really be made, right? One guy says this, the other guy says the exact opposite, somebody says something in the middle, and nobody actually makes sense. Even if I just on a baseline regurgitate the news they're spreading, nothing actually makes sense. Whether I add my own opinion in there or regurgitate it just verbatim off a tweet, nothing actually changes. It's just what I think versus what they think, and nobody actually knows anything. That's my frustration right now with all this, and that's kind of where it comes down to this is, right, I think a lot of people are coming, well, okay, Dolany TV is going to have today's update. I should know what's going on with the Oilers by the end of that video. Unfortunately, there is nothing to know. That's kind of the tricky part the Oilers are in. There is nothing substantial, right? The only concrete things that the Edmonton Oilers have done today is say that Kailer Yamamoto will play versus the New York Rangers. How? Why? Is it possible? None of that has been addressed. And I mean, okay, cool. That leaves everybody to do a guessing game, and then you throw in there as well Jesse PUljujarvi having a maintenance day and being held out of practice. It's just one of those things is just everybody's brains go squirrely and try to figure out how it's happening. And of course there's the lame result, which is Holloway and Desharnais going back to Bakersfield. There's the Jesse PUljujarvi trade. There's potentially Warren Foegele being traded. But no matter what, I guess we have eliminated to some degree one thing that can't happen tomorrow to allow Yamamoto to play, and that is waiving a player. If the Oilers waive a player, it has no impact on Yamamoto being able to play tomorrow. So that is one thing you can scratch off. It is either a trade or Holloway and Desharnais go down to the minors. Now, why not Broberg? Because that is the other bit of news today that I will wrap up with. Broberg, by everybody's measure, has been impressing. I think he's something like a plus 15 in his last 18 games or something, is what I read on Twitter today. I don't really care. Broberg's been fantastic. He is arriving before our own eyes, and that is fantastic to see for the Edmonton Oilers. So as it currently stands on Broberg, keep him up, keep him going, because he's your best third pairing lefty shot option that you currently have available to yourselves if you're the Edmonton Oilers general manager, Ken Holland, and staff. Friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolany TV. There really is not much else to add to today other than it was a whole lot of hoopla for a whole lot of nothing. And unfortunately, again, it's another day where I tell you, tomorrow, we'll see something substantial happen tomorrow. And does that even happen, or does Jesse PUljujarvi just go to the LTIR and this situation magically solves itself again, even in a lamer way, yet again for the Edmonton Oilers? You know what? You decide that. You let me know. I am up on out of here.